5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback whack, yo, sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Wind too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 hit him. Listen, 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 hit him, listen. This Eagles talk, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat Shelley, Dante the Dark Child. Drop the stats on him, drop the facts on him. Spur gang, baby, let's get it on.
Hey, fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight here with my co-host Pat. Pat is returned from the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium. He'll tell us all about it, but we're going to recap our Philadelphia Eagles' huge win over the New York Giants. Why did I say huge? Because it was a blowout. First one of the season. First win that I'm satisfied with seeing as far as points put up on the board and margin of victory. This is how you want a team that is superior to another team to handle them. You don't want it to look like it looked last week against the Browns, where we were the superior team, but we struggled to beat them. This was more like we wanted to see. So I'm very happy. So that's why it's a huge win to myself. And it was also a huge win because New York has been doing us dirty lately. And come on, let's face it. We needed a win over a New York team. Our Philadelphia Eagles handled their business and got us that win. The Mets, the damn Knicks. So we had to take care of the Giants. So I'm glad that we did. I'm glad that Saquon had a very spectacular return to MetLife, showing them why they should not have thrown him in the trash heap, which they did. And look what we found. We found a nice running back, still in good shape. Look, it's almost like we went dumpster diving and found a gem. Like, wow, they throwing this out? Okay, so we took Saquon out of the dumpster, and he was still in good shape. And he really proved it by putting up 176 yards, if I'm not mistaken, 176 yards against his former team. And I know that the Giants fans were not happy about that. Pat, tell us let's start this first quarter before you tell us about your experience up at MetLife. So you are listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around, that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I have nothing but this water right now, so I'm drinking this.
You can't do that shot. You know, the old gentleman told me when you're taking a shot, you can't do a shot of water.
All right,
It's not good luck.
Okay, all right. So I won't do a shot of water. But all right, that's what I have. So what do you have, Pat? What are you going to do? You're going to hold it down for us.
I am going to hold it down for you. I'm going to do one shot because I have to leave after this. Yes, I am back drinking.
All right.
It was a rough one.
But
I'm just doing one shot, though, today. So it's the Uncle Nearest Rye.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's very good.
Tennessee. Actually. I like that.
Yeah, this is what I make my old fashions out of.
Oh, good. So he's going to be doing the Uncle Nearest Rye. You guys let me know what you're doing as we celebrate and recap our game, our Philadelphia Eagles over the New York Giants. So here we go. Everybody, let's go. Down the hatch, 3. Oh, let me get the soundboard ready. Hold up. I got to do it. I'm not even ready. Hold on. All right, so where am I? I'm all discombobulated, boobulated here. Wait a minute. Where is the music? No, that's not it.
I got you, Dark Knight. You ready?
Oh, here we go. All right. Here we go. All right, so here we go. Oh, you found it. You got it too. You got access. All right, so here we go. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the first quarter.
All right, so Pat, fresh off that win, and you witnessed it in person up there at MetLife Stadium. Tell us about it, Pat. How was it?
First and foremost, F the Giants fans, all right? These dudes came at our necks from the moment we walked in. until the minute they left in the third quarter. Let me tell you something, man. I was so close to fighting. My wife looked at me like, "You're not excited. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're not being the normal Pat." I said, "Babe, it's your birthday. If I get excited, I'm gonna turn around and punch one of these guys." Because we were surrounded by Giants fans. You was 6 rows from the actual field, and that atmosphere was dull
Mm.
until the Eagles start doing things. Then that whole stadium came alive because when Saquon got the handoff, you heard the boos. Yes, you heard the boos.
Yeah.
But you know something? It was basically 50-50 fans in the stadium.
Mm.
In the third quarter, it was 80-20 Eagles. Like I turned around and said, you know what? This feels just right. It feels like a home game. We travel well, and there were a lot of Eagles fans there to support our team. The Giants fans, the one thing I did not dislike the name calling. I get it. As a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, I get it. We do the same thing sometimes, but coming from their perspective, you calling Saquon an idiot, he's about to get injured, da 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 da. Like, dude, you won't have anything else better to talk about? After Saquon had that 50-yard run, I turned around and said, "Y'all got rid of Saquon for Daniel. What?" Uh, he said, "Don't worry, he's gonna show. He's like a shiny nickel. You know, after a while, it's gonna dull. You know, and if I give him 5 more games, but you know what, Mets beat y'all in 4." I'm like, dude, who cares about a baseball? You hear somebody yelling, "Yankees!" I'm like, yo, this is this is your team right here, and we're
We're
beating your
demolished.
team down. No, Dark Knight. A couple observations from watching our defense.
Okay, good.
When they're on, they are on.
Mm.
Guantanamo Bay. That's what we're gonna call that. Because when you go to that jail over there, he locks you down. He
Mm.
literally threw their best receiver, Neighbors, down. Malik Neighbors had 4 total catches for 41 yards. You know where those yards and those catches came in a slot where
Mm.
it's Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, or some safety was covering him. That's where he made his catches. On the outside, they did a interview with Malik and said I was open. He was not open.
He was not open.
If Q could catch, you'd be leading
Yeah.
interceptions. It's amazing to see his reaction, not just his reaction to the ball in the air, his reaction to make a tackle, to be physical at the line of scrimmage when it's called on. He literally threw Neighbors to the ground. Dark Knight.
Mm.
We got something in that kid, and Cooper DeJean, like them combined together, had 2 catches for a total of like 9 yards against him.
Wow, that's impressive. I am very well feel confident and secure in our future in the secondary with those two lining up against opposing receivers. Q has been doing it all year. Cooper has joined the party a little late, but he has come right in and not missed a beat or a step. And this very, very encouraging, man, to see our top 2 draft picks from this past draft contributing the way they are contributing.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, they are definitely contributing like top draft picks in the draft. There was a reason why they were ranked high. And, sometimes all draft picks don't pan out. So I'm
Mhm.
very happy and encouraged that we had our top 2 so far. And this is very early in their career. I do recognize that. But thus far are playing like top draft prospects. I'm very encouraged about that. I don't think we've seen that since Leto and Sheldon. You know,
Yeah. Y- y-
that's impressive.
And the thing about it is he has fluid. He's fluid in his movement.
Mm.
Q is fluid in his movement. He could play up. He could play back because of the speed that he has. It doesn't matter what position you got him in. Even though I prefer him playing more closer to line of scrimmage and bump and run coverage.
Mhm.
The off coverage, just reaction, his ability to key on the ball, to key on his receiver, to make a sweeping to see a cornerback make a beautiful tackle, like that is something. To be physical in that aspect is something that we so much miss. Like you just said, Dark Knight, since Lito and Sheldon Brown, we haven't seen the likes of that. And I have to say this, Dark Knight, Darius Slay. We don't miss too much when Darius Slay's out. Isaiah
Oh,
Rodgers, he held his own. Even Ringo holds on a little bit too much, but they put Isaiah Rodgers in the game. He held his own. And like I said, the catches really came from the slot areas. So
mm,
outside was held down. So it's very promising, especially when we about to talk about this game coming up. But this previous game, seeing the physicality out of our cornerbacks, and even Slay got a little bit in there. He got a pass breaking up and had a little tackle. He felt the juice too. So that was something good to see that night.
that is great. That is great. So our Philadelphia Eagles 23-3 over the Giants. The defense has now not allowed a touchdown in 9 quarters. That's 2 games, and the one fourth of a game that they have not allowed a touchdown, albeit it was against the Browns and the Giants, but that's still encouraging. You know, granted, given the way they performed in some earlier games,
Mhm.
I'm happy to see this performance as opposed to seeing the previous performances that we weren't too happy about. So the defense is starting to gel. They'll have a very, very big test this week against Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, Chase Young, and Higgins.
T. Higgins, yeah.
So, this will be a great test for our corners, our young corners, and this defense as a unit also going up against a top-notch quarterback and a better offense than they've seen the past 2 weeks. So I can't wait to see that. The offense looked good also. We're still not
Mm,
scoring early in the game, but I'm not going to rag on that too much because
yeah.
28 points is 28 points. And they put up an interesting stat on social media. They put up in the first 2 drives of the game, the Eagles' offense is ranked 32nd in the league.
Mhm.
But everything after the first 2 drives in the game, they're ranked number 3 in the league. Number 3 or number 2? Number 2 or number 2, I believe, in offense after the first 2 drives. So they are still a very formidable offense, man. They just not put it together early in the game. And I mentioned this on Sunday that Ross Tucker made an interesting point about the 2 ways you can approach those first 15 scripted plays.
Mhm.
And one way is to come out and attempt to score, right? You think everybody would adopt that approach, right? Because you want to put points on the
Definitely.
board early. He said, but there's another approach that some offensive coordinators use, and that is to run formations to see what the defense is in,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
then after that, they react after they see what they're doing on defense, and then they react. And that seems to be, it just seems to be. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not in the meeting rooms, but it seems to be the philosophy that this offense is taking because they don't do well in the first 15 scripted, the first 2 drives, but after getting a glimpse of what the defense is doing. Everything after those first 2 drives, they're number 2 in offensive production. So, and maybe this is working well for them. Me personally, I like to take the early scores and get up
Yeah,
early.
score early.
Yeah,
Score early. Do like 2022. Score early. Don't score in the third and the fourth quarter. Have us talk crap about you because you scored 40 points in the first half.
right, right.
I'm gonna tell you this though, Dark Knight. From that first drive, it did look like Jalen. All right, the heat coming off that field. All right, it was hot. I'm not gonna lie to you. The side of my face is just recovering. It was hot. And to think about the players on that artificial turf that they have out there. Thank goodness we didn't have uh, any bad injuries or anything like that. I saw that the Giants did have some guys leave, um, but it looked to me that first 2 drives, Jalen looked disinterested in playing quarterback.
Wow.
I don't know if that's the philosophy, like you said. It's like a puncher throwing a jab to try to get things going and see what the defender is doing. Like, let's throw this formation out here, see what defense that they're playing. But after not Fred Johnson, after Becton went out and you had Tyler Steen come in, it's like it flipped the switch.
Mm,
It flipped the switch, and that offense started really running the ball. We had a fullback.
mm.
We had a fullback, Ben Simmering, number 57, was our fullback. And not only did he just go in there and be a body, he actually was a very integral on a big run from Saquon when he was on like the 9 yard line, like that 40-yard run. He actually cleared out a lane. He did his job as a fullback because he played fullback in college, which I just found out. So they're talking about this on the WIP. You can't do nothing running the ball. Why can't you?
Yeah, why can't you? I
Why
mean, we
can't you?
saw that work perfectly this past weekend, right? I mean, running the football was actually this the path that I saw to success on Sunday
Hmm.
prior to the game. Given a heavy dosage of Saquon Barkley, I thought was our path to victory. And I'm glad that they chose that because it worked to a T. I mean,
It
we have a
definitely
big, massive offensive line, even minus Malata and Becton. And these are two big, huge human beings. They're
can. Yeah, they
bears.
are.
They're bears on the line, right? And
I
we
know.
didn't have either one of those, and we're still able to run as effectively as we were. And that's because of two things. The offensive line is massive,
Hmm.
and we have Saquon Barkley. I mean, Saquon Barkley, I still can't believe it that he plays for us. I mean, that the Giants did not want him, and he plays for us. One of the top, if not the top back in the league. I mean, uh, Christmas came early, does.
It
Christmas
definitely
came
came early.
early. We have Saquon, and as long as we have him, I think that this offense will never be stagnant. Never be stagnant.
It should never be stagnant.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Jalen was 11 for 14. He really didn't have the pass ball. He missed two outstanding reads that could result in touchdowns, but those two drives actually still resulted in a touchdown. Um, we can say we need Jalen to be better as a quarterback, but this dude was 10 for 14, 114 yards. He had 119 passer rating. We didn't have to throw the ball.
No, we did not.
We didn't have to actually try to air it out and win this game. Like Devontae Smith had negative yards. He had one catch, negative yards. We didn't have to like bombs away. We I mean, listen, AJ is a man amongst boys out there because they can't guard him. If
Uh,
if we wanted to, I'll be honest with you, Dark Knight. Watching the routes that y'all did not see on TV, seeing the things that he's doing to those cornerbacks, they could throw the ball to AJ all game unless they had a triple team on him. He was making a catch.
mm. And well, that he's one of the top three receivers in the league, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, I
At
agree.
the worst, top five receivers in the game, and Devontae's got to be top 15. So we have a receiving core that is formidable, right?
Hmm.
I don't knock Jalen Hurts' performance again. 119
114.
QBR,
Yeah,
100 no
yeah.
119 QBR, right?
Yes, sir.
QBR. That's not anything to sneeze at. Yes, he missed a couple routes, but what quarterback doesn't? You know what I'm saying? If you go over every quarterback's play by play, there are reads that they don't see. They just don't see the whole field all the time. I'm going to live with that. What is most important is that this man has not turned the ball over in the last two games. The very thing that we were killing him for earlier in this year and the end of and all of last year for having exorbitant amount of turnovers, he's not doing that. He's corrected that. So I'm happy about that.
Yes.
And the way this offense is gelling, because that's what's happening. This offense is gelling. This team is gelling. You have to remember we have two new coordinators, which we had last year. They never seem to get on the same page. That's why those guys are gone now. and now we have two new ones. But there has to be a learning curve when you do have two coordinators. Everything is not going to come out and run as smoothly as you expect when you have two brand new coordinators until everyone gets on the same page. Everyone's feeling the coordinators are learning the tools that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen Fangio make strides in the last few weeks with dialing up pressure. He doesn't have edge rushers like Hassan Reddick on the team anymore, so he has to scheme up ways to bring the pressure, to turn up the heat in the kitchen, and he's finally figured out how to do that. And a big part of that is the coverage that the secondary is providing. They're providing the defensive line with more time to get to the quarterback with their sticky coverage of the wide receivers out there.
Man, I don't know how many times I got to talk about Q. You remember Revis Island?
Right.
Remember Deion Sanders? Like you knew he's on the right side, you didn't throw to that side. He was on the left side, you didn't throw to that side. If he covered your number one receiver, you just didn't throw to your number one receiver. Q
Yep.
is as a rookie, he has that ability. He has that ability to literally lock down every single receiver that you're going. Let me give you some receivers he went against this year. Uh, Amari Cooper, Drake London, Christian Watson in Dobbs, Mike Evans, Malik Neighbors. And not only did he pretty much put them in clamps, he held some of these guys without catches while he was on them.
Yeah, while he was covering them, yes, they got no catches on
He had
Q.
4 targets this Sunday. Of those 4 targets, was only 2 catches allowed for 15 yards. And that's not even saying if that was a switch in the coverage because he was in zone. They did play a zone a lot of times. So he was actually coming up making a tackle. So they credited that as him being on the receiver. Like Q is we hit on a draft pick. I honestly I'm not I don't think I've ever said that on this show in what the 7-8 years you've been on Dark Knight.
Yeah, yeah.
I have never said we have hit on a draft pick ever.
And let it be known that Pat is a former cornerback himself. So he has an eye to recognize what a good corner looks like. So that's high praise coming from Pat that we have a player in Q. Q is
37 in you, baby. 37 and under in football league. I no joke. I'm joking.
he has a completion percentage of less than 50%. Quarterbacks are completing less than 50% of their passes when they throw in Q's direction or to the receiver that he is covering. So Q is definitely doing his job. And to speak about Cooper, Cooper has joined the fray and he looks very good himself. I love the way Fangio is using him. He's not only a good cover, he's also an excellent blitzer and a
Yes, it
sure
is.
tackler. So I love these two young guys, man. They've added value, and Fangio has figured out how to dial up the pressure. 13 sacks in the last 2 weeks. Again, albeit it was the Browns and the Giants, but still very encouraging after the first 4 weeks of hardly any pressure. So I'm happy to see that they're getting to the quarterback. And again, they have a big test coming up this Sunday against Cincinnati. But getting back to the offensive side of the ball, man, I can't say enough about Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is a beast. He is a monster. Oh my goodness, his speed and I still can't believe that he plays for us. Again, I'm still in awe that this man is playing for us. We let his understudy go, right?
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders,
Yeah.
right? His understudy at Penn State, and then got the real deal in Saquon. And Saquon is really paying dividends. We just have to keep him fresh. I know everyone out there has seen the clip of him being offered the opportunity to break his career high in rushing and having and just his character, his honor is like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need the personal accolades. I want the win. Let the young guys get that work. Basically, I've done enough. I've done enough today. I've done 100. I've done enough. 176 yards. Let the young guys run a little bit. Let them get 176. I've gotten mine. I've gashed these guys. I've gashed them because that's what he's done. He's gashed them. almost 10 yards a carry. He averaged 10 yards a carry, 17 carries, 176 yards. Incredible. And I kind of in the beginning of the season, I kind of called, and he almost got it. I was like, Saquon is going to kill the Giants every time he plays them.
He is.
I called for 200 yards a game, and he was not very far off, and he
Yeah.
probably could have gotten that had he decided to go back into the game, but he did not. Yeah, I guess he cut them some slack. I don't know why,
Well,
but
he stumbled. He stumbled on that big 41-yard run up the middle with the fullback led. He stumbled. If he
oh
didn't
yeah,
stumble, he would definitely have over 200 yards. And he also said, you see on the clip I put on the group, rerun that tush push. That's supposed to be a hand. That was supposed to be a handoff to Saquon. They wanted to get Saquon at least 2 or 3 touchdowns, but in terms, we gave it to Jalen.
oh, you know what else I like? I like that they gave uh, Jalen the opportunity to run some RPOs, right?
Yeah.
And I think that he feels comfortable doing that. He feels comfortable being able to control the offense in that manner
Hmm.
because it's his decision making when they give him the ability to run an RPO. A lot of those times he could have just kept the ball, but he made the right decision, stuck that ball in the gut of Saquon and let Saquon do his thing. Some of those runs were actually Jalen decisions. He could either keep the ball or hand it off, and he made the right decision every time by putting it putting it in Saquon's gut and letting him take advantage of that weak Giants defense. It's just
Yo,
weak.
that Giants defense is ranked in the top 10 coming into this game though. They were very
What?
stout against the pass. We didn't have to pass the ball. We knew that we could run the ball against them. Their linebackers aren't as good as their defensive front is. Their defensive front they lead the NFL in sacks. They had 4 sacks against us. They
Yeah.
lead the NFL. Listen, Dexter Lawrence is a monster. All right, he is a monster. He did the little dance after the sack, and I'm pissed off. But I can't be pissed off because you can't block him.
All
Jason
right, look.
Kelsey couldn't block
It's
him.
been long enough. Let me bring in our fourth co-host, and that's you guys that's in the room tonight. And the first person in the room is Ryan Reeder, and he's watching on Facebook. He says, "Go Bird, keep the momentum going." Gary Pfeiffer is second. He said, "What's good tonight? What's good, Gary?"
You're-
Tony Burren, our resident follower from down under in Australia. He says, "What's up, Bird fam? What's up, Tony?" Gary Pfeiffer, Dark Knight coming in looking all Clark Kent like. Okay, I see it. Are you're kind of mixing the heroes here, like a Batman looking like Clark Kent. Okay, I get it. I get it. Gary says also we need 15 to 20 carries from Barkley on Sunday with a little play action down the middle of the field. I'm with that. Jackie Myers is in the house. She says, "Go Bird." B Dizzle is also in the house. He says, "Eagles Nation." And my neighbor says, "Yo, yo, the dudes from the Dude Dads podcast said hello and are listening with you. Yo, what's up to you guys? These
Yes,
this these
okay.
guys are very interesting. You got to check out their podcast. The title is right there, the Dude Dad podcast. Very manly show. Very manly.
They're the
That's
dudes
what I'm. Yeah, they're
about the
they're
dudes.
real dudes,
Talking about
yo.
the dudes.
Yeah, they're real dudes. Talk about the dudes. They're kind of Lenny Dykers like.
Really?
Dyker, like yeah, like so. If you're talking about the dudes, so tune in and catch them. They're very entertaining. Eddie says, score early. It puts less pressure on the defense. I agree with that. The X Factor is watching us on the YouTube platform. Never thought I would see us use a fullback, but it happened. It happened. E Money also. Shout out to all of those that are following or watching on YouTube. We appreciate the support. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube. As a matter of fact, let me make a call to action right here. My Facebook people. I know you guys run the chat room most of the time, but if you guys could take a minute out of your time, a minute out of your day, and just go over to our YouTube platform and give us a subscribe. We want to get those subscriptions up on YouTube so we can get some money, pay for some advertising, get some sponsors in here and all that. You guys can really help us do that. The numbers on Facebook is phenomenal. Can we kind of get that number up on YouTube? So help us out. Go over to YouTube, like, subscribe to Eagles Talk, the best unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by us fans, for us fans. All right. So Sean Sells, Sean Tay, the light knight in the house. Yeah, that's his. He's he's always called himself the light knight. All right, Myron says Eagles talk. That's what's up. All right, so let's end this quarter. First of all, let's do that. We're going to end this quarter.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, as I said before, you're watching, listening to Eagles Talk, the number one Eagles coverage show on Facebook that's by us fans, for us fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that is the Philadelphia Eagles, the 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles, the half a game behind the Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots.
My
I
last one.
got some water because it's bad luck, but that's the only thing I have right now. Just rushed in to do the show. Pat is doing nothing because he just said he's not doing another shot, but he was doing the Uncle Nearest.
I gotta do one more for Q. I'm doing one for Q.
I knew it was going to happen.
I'm
All
doing
right,
one
so
for
he's
Q.
going to do one more Uncle Nearest shot. Everybody out there, this is how we get down. So please drink responsibly, and remember, like any drink that you partake in, and you're an adult, is an adult beverage. So you can do whatever you want to do. Let me know what you're doing in the chat room. And here we go to our Philadelphia Eagles, 4-2, in good position as we go into the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Everybody, lift your drinks and down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
All right. So I am very pleased. I know there were a lot of people that had some complaints after the game about Jalen, and that is just that is the persona or the character of Eagles fans. We just have to find something wrong. I don't know. That's just what we do. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it this year. I mean, I don't think it's warranted as of yet. I do understand that there has to be some grace given because of the reason I gave earlier, the two new coordinators and having to learn their units and get in a groove or get on the same page, quarterback with the offensive coordinator and the such. So I'm giving them some grace. It's starting to look better. And the most important thing is that we look better at the end of the year, not particularly too much here. I mean, we want to win, don't get me wrong. We want to look as good as we can. But it's more important to me that we have it all together near the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like we need to be on the same page. And in my mind, it's like an 8-game feeling out process. After the 8th week, I need this team to look sharper than they've looked in the first 3 weeks. Because let's face it, they don't play in the preseason. So that September month to me is a preseason extension. You know, because they don't play much in the preseason. So they're still getting their legs under them, and they're still learning one another, meeting the coordinators and their units and stuff like that. So I really give it to like the 8th week where I want to see sharper play on both sides of the ball. And I'm starting to see it. I'm seeing it with the defense the last 2 games, the last 9 quarters, not giving up a touchdown. So they're starting more pressure on the quarterback. So I'm starting to see more consistency, more dominant play on the defensive side of the ball. The offense this week put up 28 points against you just said it, a okay Giants defense. And that's good. So we're on our way. We're trending in the right direction, in my opinion. We're trending in the right direction.
We're matriculating. New word I learned today. Matriculating.
Matriculating down the field.
You're 100% right, Dark Knight. Listen, it's like if you give one of these Eagles, I'm an Eagles fan. If you give us $2 million, you're gonna get mad because you got to pay taxes. Like you just get $2 million. Like, all right, relax. Let's invest it. Let's do the proper things. Let's pay the taxes, and let's do what we want to do with our money. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. Okay, listen. Right now, he's a field general. We always talk bad about field generals, but when you have these weapons, when you can throw a go ball at any given time to AJ Brown, especially 1-on-1. When Saquon could bust it at any given time, when Dallas Goedert comes back, he's going to be a threat. Devontae Smith is top 15, top 10 receiver when he's receiving the ball. When our offensive line is doing a doggone thing, when they're healthy, It's no stopping this guys. It's no stopping this offense. And now they're starting to gel together. They're starting to understand what they do best, what they do, what they shouldn't be doing. They added a fullback into the mix this game. We haven't seen a fullback with this football team since the Andy Reid era. All right.
Yeah, for real.
Since
For real.
even in 2017, Doug Peterson didn't have a fullback. You know
No,
that,
he did
right?
not. No.
So we haven't seen a fullback since the Andy Reid era, and that's a new wrinkle to this offense because now you can do so many different things when you add a fullback into the offense. Not only do you have power, now you running under the center. In Dark Knight, the one thing I saw a lot of this game was Jalen Hurts under center.
Mm.
You know what that brings to a defensive coordinator to say, you know what, this guy's now under center. We got to worry about him taking a snap in the shotgun, now him under the center. Play action pass becomes more vital when you're actually running the ball under center than when you're in a shotgun.
More believable when you're
Yeah.
running it from under center. Yeah, I agree with that. So that just adds another dimension to our offense when he's under center. So I am loving Kellen Moore and what he's bringing to the offense. We kind of
Simplified.
expected this. We wanted to see more creativity on the offensive side of the ball, and we're seeing it. We're
Yes.
seeing it. It's unlike last year where it was so vanilla, no motion, no the route running or the route design was
Hmm.
boring, and that's why we got they caught up to us by the end of last year. They caught up to the high schoolish type of offense we were playing, and now we're not doing that. We're playing grown man football on the offensive side of the ball. Is showing. We're taking advantage of what the defense is giving us. The previous week, AJ Brown had a big week. This week, Saquon Barkley had a big week. It's just the the amount of talent we have on the offensive side of the ball doesn't mean everybody's going to have. You know, Devontae's going to have 1,000 yards. AJ's going to have 1,000 yards. Goddard's going to have 1,000 yards. So it doesn't mean that. What it does mean is that it gives us a lot of options on the offensive side of the ball. It
It
gives
does.
defensive coordinators a headache having to figure out where are they going to go with the ball this time because they have so many places. We don't. We're talented in almost every skill position on the offensive side of the ball. You can't scheme to shut down one person. What are you going to shut down? You can't.
Listen,
Like,
the
what are
best
you going to shut down?
the best thing you could do is try to do what the Bucks did and blitz us every single down. But you realize when we played the Bucks this year, we didn't have our receiver 1A or 1B. We lost our tight end. We didn't really have anybody worthy. I'm not going to talk bad about any of these receivers because they're in NFL. But we didn't have the caliber of Devontae Smith or AJ Brown playing in that game. This time, what are you going to do? What is
Yeah,
Cincinnati Bengals going to do? They have a very formidable edge rusher in Trey Hickerson. Like he is somebody I wish we had. He's relentless. He reminds me of JJ Watt. But
I think Pat can speak to this. Pat, you did speak to this. You must
oh
have listened,
man,
Sean.
Sean,
He
listen,
definitely, he's
yo,
exactly spoke
they
to
said the
that.
Mets. They start bringing out the Mets. They said the Mets swept y'all in 4 games. Stupid. And when he said stupid, I lied to you not, Dark Knight. I literally was about to turn around and hit him with a 2-piece and a biscuit. My wife caught my arm like this. As I turned around, she caught my arm like this. I said,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said
They
okay.
they
Then
are
you hear Yankees were Yankees going to this world. I'm like, why y'all worried? Dude, it's the third quarter.
that's all
Then
they had. That's
then
all they had.
then then
That's
then
all
at,
they had.
after we scored a
They could not
touchdown,
talk about the game. That's
they
all they had.
they
They
rolled
couldn't
out.
talk about the game. We demolished them. And this another thing. We heard some complaining because we're Eagles fans
Yeah.
after the game. Come on, guys. My argument to that is we played the Browns. We did not handle business the way that we all thought we should have
I
handled
want to talk
a
about that.
bad looking
Mhm.
team, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
didn't handle business like we thought we should have, right? And then we come out this week against another lower echelon team, and we do handle business and blow them out and not allow a touchdown, and they're still complaining. I don't know what we have to do to satisfy this fan base. But I know that 28-3 is a blowout. 28-3 is what you want to see if when your team is better than the other team. You want to see a three touchdown, 21-point lead, 25 to be exact. You want to see that. And that's what I saw. So why are we nitpicking on the plays that weren't made? It was a blowout over
It
a
was
a lesser team, and that's all you can ask for. I don't
yes,
know
sir.
what else they
Yes,
you
sir.
wanted 42 points. Yeah, that would have been better. But they handled business. They took care of an inferior team with a 25-point win. They put over 200 and something yards on the ground on these guys. I'm satisfied. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
am.
satisfied.
I'm it was like watching a varsity team versus a middle school team. I'll be honest with you. That's how it was. It literally felt like the Giants could not do anything against that defense. First and foremost, that rookie Jalen Hutz, whatever his name is, had last name Hut.
Alex Hunt.
Jalen Hut,
Alex Hunt.
he needs some more playing time.
Yeah, yeah.
He came around that corner, even though it was misblocked and they had a bad left tackle. He came around the corner with bad intentions, and that special he was playing special teams. Y'all didn't see it, like he was pancaking guys, knocking guys out of their shoes when the returners were just nailing the ball down. Like we have some monsters on this team that haven't got unleashed yet, and I do agree with Zachary when you said Q Mitchell and Cooper DeJohn are ball since Cooper has been in the game, since he's been a starter since the Browns game, right? That defense has changed.
Uh-huh.
You don't have a confused Avante Maddox out there, running around like a jitterbug. You have somebody that's controlled. He's like a veteran out there. He's like he's been in the league for 5 years already, and he know what he's doing. Our N'Kobe Dean, man, listen,
Oh my
N'Kobe Dean
goodness.
laid the hit on this guy. I heard it. It
Yeah.
was across the field, and I heard. I'm like, that's football. I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I spelled like I did the Dark Knight thing. Like that's football.
That's football. You're right.
That's
That was a
football.
nasty hit. And that's
Wait a
another
minute.
encouraging
Wait a
thing.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Do we what?
What?
What? My wife trying to throw shade at us?
What happened?
I don't have it on here, but she said it's like the Eagles versus Ben Franklin High.
Oh wow. Wow,
I mean that
that's
is true
coming
though.
at
That is
yeah.
true. 'Cause
Well, that's
we
what
were
the
giving him a
Eagles are
fight.
supposed
We were
to
giving
do
him a better
to
fight than the Giants
yeah.
though.
You think so? All right.
Nah, not really.
That's what they're supposed to do. If that was the Ben Franklin High, what was your mascots? What were you done?
We are electrons.
Electron. I'm about to say the
Yes.
electrons, right? All right. So yeah, they handle business to me. I was okay with that. Were there things to clean up? There are always things to clean up.
Yes.
There were always things to clean up. I used an interesting analogy on Sunday in making that argument. I was like, dude, do you think that there were a lot of plays that weren't executed when the New England Patriots were down 25 points to the Atlanta Falcons that year? Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of plays that were missed during that 25-point deficit, right? But they came out and they won the game. That is all that is matters.
Mhm.
Nobody talks about the plays they missed in the first half of that game. They talk about the victory they got at the end. And that's how I am with my Eagles. Look, I don't care about those plays as long as we get the W and continue to get the W. All right. When it costs us, I don't have a problem with killing them for missing it. Right. But when we win, I don't see a need to have to dwell on those plays that we missed. Every team misses plays. Why? Because there's no perfect teams out there.
Yeah.
There's none. None out there. Pat Mahomes misses plays.
Pat Mahomes leads the league's interceptions, first of all.
Yeah. Come on. Don't play. I just want the W. All right. JT says, I don't care, just to win. Yes. JT also says, dang, sis. Stephanie, she said, dang, came at your boy. Talib says, we did what we were supposed to do. They were on the schedule. We played them and we demolished them. All right.
That's
Let's
all
end
you can
this
do.
quarter right here.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're listening to Eagles Talk. Again, the most unique Eagles coverage show around that's by us fans, for us fans. How many shows out there are by us fans? We're not studio analysts. We're fans just like you. We have
Nope.
conversations just like you. We include you guys in the conversation. And then we're the most unique Eagles coverage show around that does that. So here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I can't do. Just got the water, and I can't do that because that's bad luck. And I'm not going to bring any kind of bad juju to the Eagles, so I'm not going to do it. Pat is done. I think he's done his Uncle Nearest. You
Yeah,
got
I'm doing
me.
iced tea now.
I don't see anybody in the chat room. What's happening? Nobody's in the chat room telling me what they're drinking. So, but that's cool. That's all right. So, but if you are partaking, let
Stephanie, no more shots, Stephanie.
to our Philadelphia Eagles as we head into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. So here we go. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
All right, we got a big game coming up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The
Yes, we
Cincinnati
do.
Bengals are not where they would like to be, but they have played some very tough opponents and lost some very close games to those tough opponents. So they're not anything to be sneezed at. Joe Burrow is still amongst the league leaders in quarterback play. I know at least fantasy wise he is. Oh, excuse me. I know because I have him, but he is still a very formidable quarterback. He has his weapons back: T. Higgins and Chase Young. So is this Chase Young? I'm sorry, am I saying that right? Jamar
No,
Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. I'm sorry. Yeah,
It's Chase Young. Where
Jamar
you get Chase
Chase.
Young from?
I'm thinking the Commanders. I don't know what the heck. All right. So
That's
I'm a little
that's the
confused.
defense
I'm
end
sorry.
for New
Yeah,
Orleans
I know.
Saints.
Yeah, defense end. My bad. All right. So rewind this, and I'm just correcting myself. All right. So Jamar Chase. These are two very formidable receivers. One of the top receiving tandems in the league, along with our receiving core there. So this is going to be a test for the defense. We're going to see just how good this young secondary is.
hmm
We'll see if we can get a pass rush and get to Joe Burrow. We'll see a quarterback that is 10 times better than Daniel Jones. So it'll be interesting to see what game plan Vic Fangio has against this top notch offense that we're going to face. I'm eager to see it because it's easy to say, although I love seeing what they did against the Giants, against the Browns, holding them to no touchdowns. No, they're not a big test. But this team coming up is going to be a test. So I just want to
Definitely are.
see, and I want to see how they perform, and and if we happen to perform in the same manner, I'm going to feel really good. I'm going to feel really confident about us moving through the rest of the season. Really,
Mhm.
if we can come out and duplicate what we've done the past 2 weeks against this Cincinnati Bengals team, I think we're on to something.
You know what, Dark Knight? I'm gonna take the words out of my grandfather's mouth. He said, "Pat, I really think that we're gonna beat Cincinnati this weekend." That's what he said. Pop said, "I think we're gonna beat the Bengals. I have a feeling that this team is on a mission. They're gonna whoop up on the Bengals. We literally legitly have two corners that can match up against the receivers anytime, any day of the week. Um, don't be scared. I want Vic Fangio don't not be scared and let these guys compete. That's one of Nick Sirianni's mission plans, right?
Mhm.
Motivational factors is to compete. Let your corners compete. All right. Let them go against the top notch receivers in the league because Q right now is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Slay, even though he's up there, he is in the top 10 at cornerbacks in the league. Cooper DeJean, since they've been putting him into the defense, he has been a very reliable slot corner. Our safeties have got better. Zach Bond, I don't know if he may not play because of his shoulder injury. Um, but N'Kobe Dean has been a little bit better. Not great, but he's been a little bit better. I like this defense chance against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think we have a great opportunity to show the world what we can do against a hot, top-notch offense like the Bengals.
I love those statement games, man. Sometimes they don't, our team don't live up to those statement games, but I
Mhm,
think this is one of them. And I'm just looking forward to seeing them go up against this offense
mhm.
and making a statement to the rest of the league that the Eagles are definitely back, because we fell out of favor with a lot of the national analysts with the way we performed against what is that, the Falcons and the- and
Yeah, they're the Bucks.
and the Bucks and
Mhm,
stuff like that. So we're starting to trend upward again, and if we get a big win, a convincing win over the Bengals, I think
mhm.
we'll be back in the favor of the national analysts. Not that their opinion matters much to us, but I like to look good to everybody. I like everybody to look at us and be like, "Oh, damn, the Eagles, no joke." I think we're nearing that territory again, and if we handle the Bengals like we did the past two games, I think they have nothing, no other choice but to recognize that we are contenders. We are.
Right.
So,
Thank
uh,
you.
go to you guys out there. Talib said he's drinking sweet tea here in Atlanta. The X Factor's doing green tea tonight. And Tarif said he's doing the Ciroc brandy.
What up, Reef?
Talib says, this is this is a dilemma. This is very serious. We need to stop and talk about this. So he says, I hate playing guys that is on my fantasy team, football team, shake my head. Yes, I do too. And I have that dilemma this week because I have and I will be, hmm, dang, it don't even sound like I'm saying it. I have and I will be starting Joe Burrow. And I hate that because, I
Who's your
don't
second
really
string
want
quarterback?
it's Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels
Ooh,
not now. I do
Ballet.
have also because I have three quarterbacks. I rarely carry three quarterbacks. I usually just carry two. But I was taking a shot on Jaden Daniels, and I didn't know going into the year if he would be what I thought he would be, but he's turned out to be what I thought he would be. So as a backup, as an insurance policy, I picked a third quarterback just in case he didn't pan out. And that third quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. So I have I have I can go to Aaron Rodgers if I don't want to,
Dark Knight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you.
what?
So I had Malik Neighbors at receiver, and I said, you know what? He's not gonna have a good game. And I
Mm,
knew he wasn't going to have a good game. He wasn't going to give me points. I said I had Lamar Jackson at quarterback, so that helped me out. Um, I listen. I'm gonna tell you right now, Joe Burrow is not going to have the game you think he's going to have.
he's not. All right, all right, all right. I'm gonna take that. All right, then I only have one other choice. I got to go with the
A
dang
Rod,
A-Rod, A-Rod. I
A
got to go
Aaron,
with A-Ron.
Aaron.
Aaron. All right, Bill Crow says he's drinking apple juice tonight. All right, be careful with the apple juice, Bill.
hmm
I drink the apple juice. I don't know what it does to you, but for me, it is a natural laxative.
Ooh.
Natural laxative. I mean, it will. It's like it's like I that's the best way I can put it. It can get explosive when I drink apple juice. So you just be careful with the apple juice tonight. The X Factor says, "Is it me or does it feel kind of disrespectful that they moved us to four?" It's definitely disrespectful,
It is disrespectful, but you know what? It is
but
what it is.
it is what it is. But you think about it, I don't think that. I think we're starting to round off to be the team that the national pundits expected us to be. Cincinnati hasn't come out the gate looking like they expected them to look. So
Mhm.
they are more enticing or attractive matchups. So I see, but it is disrespectful. It is disrespectful. But I blame them? I don't know if I necessarily blame them. We weren't setting the world on fire up till now, and Cincinnati definitely wasn't. Although they played some tough games, they lost some tough games to pretty good opponents, and that's why their record is what it is. But they are still a team that is formidable, and we need to worry about. Like we can't just go through the motions with these guys. We have to come out and actually beat them, and it's on the road again. So we definitely have to come out and take them seriously and put the smack down on them. We can't expect that they're going to lay down and roll over. That's just not them. All right, Wayne says we need to break the losing streak versus the Bengals. Ain't beat them since Christmas Eve 2000. Great tidbit. I mean, great tidbit right there. We're 3-9-2 versus them. Wow. All right, that's good to know.
I don't need that. I don't need that negativity in my life. All right. I don't need you to quote
He
those
just
stats. I noticed that. I don't need to see that negative. What? It's 2014. I mean 2024. All right. It's we don't worry about those stats no longer.
well, then look, the X Factor says Lane said our offense is constipated. I remember that statement. Think they broke loose yet?
Yeah, I had
I
to
think they
climb.
had some apple juice. I think they
Yeah.
had some apple juice because they weren't constipated this past week. They might have been partaking in some apple juice. So true test for Q and Cooper this week. I agree with that. Definitely a true test for them, and that could give us even more encouragement if our young secondary can come out and handle the likes of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That would be huge.
Yeah, that'd be
Again,
great. That'd
we've
definitely be
we've
great.
seen. I was having a conversation with another football fan, not of our Philadelphia Eagles. I forget who and he brought up an interesting point. He was like, "What happened to the good old days when teams built their team to beat the top teams?" Like back in the '90s when Dallas had the big wide receivers. What did we do? We
Hmm.
went out and got big
Big
corners.
corners. Yep.
You know what I mean? Bobby Taylor and you know what I mean? We went out and got big corners. You know when um when Dallas was mauling people with the big offensive line. What did we do? We had to have a big defensive line. You had to bring the linebackers were hefty back then to stop the run. You know
Jeremiah
what I'm
Trotter.
saying? Jeremiah Trotter and
Yeah.
all and the such. What happened to those days when you built your team to beat the top teams? So who's the top teams in our conference, NFC, or in the league, like
All right. So
Kansas
we're a
City?
top team now.
Yeah, we're a top team. But I'm talking about like Cincinnati. They had explosive offense. So we brought what our first two picks were corners.
Hmm.
Corners. This is a passing league now. We have to stop. And we sucked at in the past few years. We had no corners. Well, I guess that one year when Slay and Bradbury actually were top corners. I think that was the last
They
time
were
we
top
had.
corners because of our defensive line. Let's be honest. Our
Yeah,
defensive line had
basically.
70 something plus sacks. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks volumes. Like when your defenses get after the quarterback, it's not allowing um um different schemes to develop, different routes to develop because the quarterback is being rushed, is being bun rushed. So if we can get back to that, it makes it easier for our corners. Right now, our corners are playing and they're playing phenomenal football. If we put our quarterbacks that we have right now on that 2022 team, I hate to say it, we win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. We do. We win the Super Bowl. I agree with that. I agree. But and I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but
Mhm.
do you see what Kansas City did? Like, what? How does this happen to top teams? Like, they lose everybody, and then they go out and retool with. How do they do that? Like, like nobody's supposed to be left on, you know,
Well, they just
out
got
there now that can make a difference like that, and they go out and get DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt. You know what I mean? Like how do they do that?
so
How do
so
they do that?
So the Chiefs lost their other receiver, Sky Moore. He's on IR. So right now they literally have down the two receivers, Xavier Worthy and DeAndre Hopkins, who has not been the same DeAndre Hopkins we've seen in Houston. Be honest with you. Once he got traded to the Texans, he's been an anatomy. He's not been the same player. Is he the quarterback? Probably so. But at the same time, he is.
Watch when you get to the Chiefs. Watch what Pat does with them. You're gonna see a
He's gonna throw more
resurgence.
interceptions.
Yeah.
Because the refs, listen, I saw that game. The refs are on the Chiefs' side for some reason. Yeah, I don't like to talk about the refs. I don't want to get fined by the NFL. But no way in hell should a quarterback run down the sideline and not get touched like he did. No way.
Thoughts on getting Garrett
I would love it. I don't care the scheme that we run
from the Browns?
from the Browns. I would
All
love
right,
it.
what
And
would we
I
have
think
to give
Brad
up for
Mitchell.
him? What do you think? Like a draft pick wise?
Definitely a first
We
round.
probably have to give him
Um,
a first, right?
First round, probably a second round, probably a Darius Slay. Uh,
They can and
uh,
Darius, they can have Darius though.
yeah, they can have
I mean,
Darius.
don't get me wrong. I like Darius. I think that he's still playing at a high level for his age. I do believe that, right? But let's face it, the two young guys are the corners of the future, and this very well may be Darius's last year with the Eagles, realistically, right? So if he has to go for us to get Garrett,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. I
Yeah,
think that
I'm definitely
we're
getting.
all right.
You're gonna kid that's 27 years old who's one of the best defensive ends in the NFL, regardless of the scheme that you're running. He's a physical beast. Another name that's thrown out there is Max Crosby.
Oh
Listen,
yeah, I've heard that too.
Max Crosby or Miles Garrett, you can't go wrong at this particular time, and it doesn't even matter the defense that Vic is running that covers 6 to 34 hybrid. It doesn't even matter because their ability garners double teams, and that makes other players eat.
Right.
Um, Jalen Carter, Bryce Huff has come alive. He has really come alive. He's been very active when they put him down in that 4 man that the
Four
four
man front.
no the front with the four hands and like in the sprinter stance. I'm my brain is going some crazy right now,
All
but
right.
he's been very active. Quarterback pressures, sacks. I think he had a full sack this game. Like he has really been showing his worth and getting around a corner and being these linemen. Like he's been dominant. So just to have a Miles Garrett or a Max Crosby will only increase the value of our defensive line.
I agree with that. All right, let's end this so we can get another quarter and and get out of here. So
And that's the end of the quarter.
all right, that's the end of the third quarter. You're watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by us fans, for us fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we talk about our favorite football team, the playoff back to being playoff contending Philadelphia Eagles 4-2. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. Pat's not doing any more shots because his wife is in the chat room and she's going to get you if you do. All right, people out there have let me know what they're partaking in. So continue to do so. This is the last shot of the show. So everyone, let's enjoy that. Let's turn up for our Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
All right, fourth quarter. We have to travel out to Cincinnati. Not an easy place to go and try to win. It's going to be. We're going to have our work cut out. What do you think? And you guys let me know in the chat room also. What do you guys think is going to be our offensive philosophy to beat the Cincinnati Bengals? What do we go to? Are we going a heavy pass? Um, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think the best path for us to take as an offense to take down the Cincinnati Bengals this Sunday. Pat,
Easy, run the ball.
run the ball.
All right, listen. I know you want Jalen to be the face of the franchise, which he has been. But how you get everything started? You start everything by running the ball. You soften that defense up by running the ball. You bring those safeties down. Now you really got to understand something. Once those safeties realize that you're getting 4 yards a pop, 5 yards a pop, you're getting the first down every three plays by running the ball. Now you're one on one with the safe, one on one with the corners. Like I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. I take my chances with Cam Britt and DJ Turner against uh AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I'll take my chances with them one on one. We gotta be more creative and get more passes over the middle, but run the freaking ball. Soften up that defensive front. You got Trey Hickerson, who is a monster coming off that edge. So if you start passing the ball and get out of your norm and say, you know what, we're gonna throw the ball 40 times this game, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, we don't want to be one dimensional, and that's a part of that balance too, right? Because if
Mhm.
whenever we're looking one dimensional, that's saying something about the dysfunction in the play calling.
Correct.
Because with all of the talent that I just named earlier on this offensive side of the ball, we should not ever look like a one-dimensional team.
Ever.
Albeit, I know if we were getting blown out, that's something different. But I'm talking about as long as the game is within reach or we're leading, we should never look one-dimensional. I think Kellen is he's doing a good job, and I think that if he continues down the path that he's been going the past couple of games, we'll be all right. Especially last game. I know it was heavy run,
Hmm.
but that's a credit to him also. Not getting too cute, you know what I mean? Going with what works. I talk about the days of uh, when you had a strong running game and you still ran it. Didn't it wasn't back when the running back was more featured, right, in the 90s and such. You had teams that were run heavy and they didn't care that you knew that. That was their strength and they were going to run it and you were just going to have to stop it. They didn't
Yep.
get cute or anything like that. They ran it on downs where they you knew they were going to run it and they dared you to stop them. And that's what the Eagles offense looked like this Sunday. We
Hmm.
ran the ball even when they knew we were going to run it and we still ran it effectively. So I give credit to Kellen Moore for sticking with the run and not blinking, not blinking and going to the air on that. And we know we have ownership that loves the high flying passing game. So there's probably some pressure somewhere in the building that wants to see that exciting, explosive offense. And Kellen Moore stuck to his guns and kept it on the ground, and that was the right thing to do this past game.
Definitely. Listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
If you could run a ball like you have done with Saquon Barkley, who's one of the top three running backs in the league. Let's be honest, he is a top notch running back. Derrick Henry has over 800 yards. He has 600 and some odd yards rushing the ball. Saquon does, and he's missing one game. He would definitely be right behind him if they played the same amount of games. With that being said, feed him, feed the
yeah,
beast,
yeah.
feed the beast. Make the
Feed
Giants say, "Oh my goodness, we should have kept him." Like, yeah, because you benched Daniel Jones in the third quarter. Like,
yeah.
who seen? I have never seen a team bench their starting quarterback in the third quarter because he's playing terrible. Their
The
starting quarterback they paid over. They paid $40 million a year for.
the
That's
quarterback you picked over Saquon Barkley, the quarterback that, and I know that it probably haunts them to look at Hard Knocks, but you know it's
you put it
infamous
out there.
now that line of we have a $40 million quarterback. You know we don't need, you know what I mean, like that's what we're going with. Like, ooh, I know they cringe when they hear that now, and also the other famous line from the owner saying, "Man, if he goes to the Eagles, I'm not." You know what I'm saying? And everybody knew he was coming to the Eagles. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is what it is. But we're going to face the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that uh, I have to look. I haven't looked at the tape yet. Admittedly, I'll be ready on Sunday though. Going to look at Cincinnati's last game, maybe last two games, and see what they're doing, and figure out what I think is the best path to winning on Sunday. That will be on our pregame show on Sunday. What time is our game? Our game is what, 4:15?
415.
4:15. So we will be on at 3:15 on Sunday. So you guys make sure you come by and check out and get ready for the game with us. You know how we do. We do a virtual tailgate right here online. And I want you guys to come join in with us. You will see Pat at his full strength. He will be doing 4 shots the whole game. And people don't realize how tough that is. You know, I used to
Shout out to
participate.
Christopher Burton.
That's it. But yeah, just ask Christopher Burton, who we invited on to be a guest shot taker one time, and he was just plastered. He couldn't, and this and this is what exactly what I mean when I talk about people don't realize how tough it is to do 4 shots
I'm
and
sorry, that game is
and
one
be
o'clock.
cohesive, and still be cohesive, and still be able to break down the game in the manner in which that we do. You know what I mean? It's not easy to do that, and and I think we do a good job of it. Although I don't drink anymore, but when I was, I
Yes, you did.
handle it like a pro. Like yo.
Except
So
that one
make
time
sure.
in the studio with Shell.
Oh yeah. When Shell brought in that, I think he brought in like 100 proof. That was like 100 proof liquor,
He
bourbon or
brought in
whatever.
something crazy. Man.
It was something
We
crazy.
was just talking to
We
each other.
banned it. We
We
banned it from the show after that. That was the only time. And the back and forth between you and Shell. It was fun days. But make sure you guys are here on Sunday as we prepare for our Philadelphia Eagles to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be doing the virtual tailgate right here on Facebook and YouTube and IG Live. We're on IG Live too. So make sure you join us. We'll be back on Sunday, 3:15.
No,
Be
1
here.
o'clock. It's a 1 o'clock game.
It's a 1 o'clock game?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you said 3:15.
I thought so too. It's a 1 o'clock game.
All right. My fault.
My
I'm
bad.
about to mislead you guys. All right. Do not be here at 3:15 or you'll miss the game. All right. Make sure Make sure you're here at 12 o'clock. I'm sorry, 12 o'clock we'll be on the air. So come join us as we pregame for the game. All right, game got flexed. Yeah. All right. So yeah, make sure you're here at 12 o'clock and we'll be preparing you guys to watch the Eagles take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Until then, and this podcast will be up tomorrow. So make sure you go to your favorite podcast platforms and download and subscribe to our podcast. This podcast is an audio podcast also. So for those that cannot watch on YouTube, cannot watch on Facebook, it's a very easy listen. Just pop it on while you're in the car, while you're cleaning the house, whatever, and listen to this podcast, Eagles Talk. We're out. We'll see you on Sunday. Peace. Do I end the stream? Oh. All right. All right. Did I set that? Okay. Okay. All right, we're out.
We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback whack, yo, sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Wind too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 listen, hit him, listen. This Eagles talk, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people.